Welcome back to Fast Market on the TD Ameritrade Network. I'm Tom White, and I'm joined by my co-host Kevin Hinks. But let's bring in our next guest, Kev, and that's going to be Landon Swan, the co-founder of LikeFolio.com. Thanks for joining us today, Landon.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're doing well, and so is Best Buy stock so far this year. Stocks are up over 40%, hit another all-time high. As far as data goes ahead of their earnings tomorrow morning, what are you guys at LikeFolio seeing? Because it seems like it's probably going to be pretty positive if stock's doing this.
Yeah, I tell you what, they're doing fantastic. Sometimes we talk about stocks that are off all-time highs a little bit. I think they're off by $1.50 or something. I mean, they're right there. They're plowing higher, doing really well. This has been a good time to be Best Buy. I mean, they transitioned really well with COVID to in-store sales to getting people from in-store sales, to getting people online, coming curbside pickup, all that. Big jump in their online app usage and just overall efficiency. And I guess, again, kind of right place, right time, but they really were prepared and adapted very well. And one of the things that we're seeing over the last year or quarter is a bump in happiness. And so people are actually very pleased with Best Buy right now as consumers. And we're seeing that a lot of it is driving our earnings score. We're not super bullish on Best Buy. We're a plus 25. That can go from negative 100 to positive 100. So, we're leaning bullish. There's actually a lot of bullish names reporting this week that are a little bit stronger than Best Buy. But overall, we are bullish here. And the old saying, buy high, sell higher. So this could be that opportunity. I definitely like them more on a pullback, but I think one of the things that we've got to look at is, of course, the omnichannel fulfillment. That's very important. They've done extremely well. If you look at if you kind of compare it versus 2019, plus 67%, you can see the COVID spike in there. You can see the console spike when the Xbox and PlayStation came out. But they are on a nice trajectory, and this is good for happiness. This is good for customer retention. This is good for efficiency, and so costs are lower with this kind of thing. I know we normally only talk about revenue with LikeFolio, but you got to think about the expense side, and so this is a more efficient way to serve the customer. But what's going to be really important, I think, when you talk about Best Buy and how they report is, how are they treating inventory? How are they treating pricing? Because we saw what Target and Walmart did. They wanted to keep the costs low, and they let their margins get cut a little bit so they could keep that happy customer, keep the brand loyalty, and they were punished by Wall Street for that. Whereas companies like Macy's and Kohl's did not do that. They passed along those costs and they were rewarded. So I think that investors want to see, higher costs and hold those margins. And it's going to be interesting to see what Best Buy reports on. I can tell you from just, if you kind of compare them, it's hard to compare, who do you compare Best Buy to? But here's some names that we like to look at with Best Buy, and you can see they are all the way to the right when it comes to growth and purchase intent, and definitely crushing it as far as comparing it to Target and Walmart, who did not have a good earnings report, and happiness-wise, not quite there, but moving up on the happiness scale, plus 5 points year over year, plus 3 quarter over quarter. So they have happy customers, and right now, it seems like they're talking about, having enough stock for everyone. So while that may seem like good news, I am a little concerned, just making sure that they're passing along those costs and they hold that line on inventory. Hold that line on margin, because I think that's what investors want. So leaning bullish, not super bullish, leaning bullish. The happiness, I think, is the main driver. Customers are very happy with how Best Buy is treating them right now.
Landon, I think margins are a key part of what they're about to report. And another thing that is important to this earnings release is how they word this, how they set this picture up. Why? Because year-over-year comps aren't going to be that great, right, based on last year. But if they can show and explain that over the last 2 years, sales are up 24% over 2019 levels, that'll be the right way to paint this picture on them. But Landon, you just mentioned something I think is key here, and that is, who do you compare Best Buy to? Your plot shows Amazon and Target and Costco and Walmart, but this is a electronics retailer, right? And throw me in the group that has had an extremely positive Best Buy experience. in the last 12 months. And so you're right. I get it that people are happy because their stores, they've reinvented themselves at a time where a lot of people thought they couldn't. But can you, or is your data accurate comparing them to the Costco's and Target and Amazon and Walmart? Or are they something that you just really need to look at them as a standalone retailer for electronics?
It's tough because those are all competitors. If you think about where you're going to buy electronics or appliances or things like that,
Costco definitely.
Those are all competitors, but they're different businesses altogether. It's not a one for one. I mean, I wish Circuit City was still around. They were the old competitor. They didn't make it. Best Buy won that battle. Then we could have some great comps, but there's no one really to compare them to. So we throw those up there just to kind of give you an idea. But if you look at just that purchase intent move is very, very strong. And a lot of it has to do with the online ordering. That last year it was 60% of their online sales were actually fulfilled by the stores, and most of those were actually by pickup. And if you think about, LikeFolio always talks about top line revenue, and that's what we're good at predicting, consumer demand. But you have to know that earnings is a big part of it. And of course, that's revenue minus expenses. And so if you can get people coming to the store, ordering online, coming to the store, and they pick up either in the parking lot or they just go in and grab it from somebody. I mean, that is a very cheap way to fulfill an order, especially if you do it at the store level and you don't have to ship it out. So I think that's really key. And the fact that people are using their app and getting online and using their website far more than they did 2019 for sure. And then as that's growing, that the expenses are coming down and the consumers are happy and demand is increasing. So everything's moving in the right direction. But to answer your question, it's tough. I mean, you'd have to go to the specific section of Target or Walmart or Amazon or Costco to kind of pick those apart. We can't get that granular, but overall, we're seeing that the demand for Best Buy is much stronger than the loose competitors that they have.
Yeah, Landon, scenario for you, because you mentioned that the happiness for Best Buy pretty extraordinary at this point as demand continues to be there because the consumer's red hot right now, right? They're out there spending. But think about this in the next month or two when people go to Best Buy or try to order from Best Buy and they put it in their cart and they try to set up pickup, and pickup says January 15th is the first time that you can get this, or you go to the Best Buy and there's not your product that you want on the shelves because of the supply constraint issues. Oliver Rennick, our own Oliver Rennick, was there looking for a computer and he couldn't find a big selection. And this is a couple weeks before the holiday shopping season officially starts. Will that dent the happiness and data that you guys are seeing from Best Buy now? Because this is their quarter, right? This is the retail quarter going into the holiday shopping season.
Yeah, that's extremely important. And just real quick, public service announcement: if you haven't done your Christmas shopping, do it now, because you're going to have that situation where you get the January deliveries and you'll be kicking yourself. So go ahead and get going on that. But Best Buy has actually come out and said that they expect to have very few out of stock items. We're seeing very, very, very few out of stock mentions, which is actually leading to that bump in happiness. People love to complain when things are out of stock. But Best Buy has said that likely the things that are going to be potential problems are Apple products, gaming products, and some appliances. So the normal, like the TVs, the electronics, computers, things like that, likely going to be there. But if you're hunting for Apple or gaming or maybe some of the appliances, you may be in a little bit of a squeeze. So I think that overall they've got, at least that they're claiming to have a good position on inventory, which is going to keep consumers happy. And you've got to have that confidence that you can go to the store and get the item. If you can build that, personally, I think that's worth a couple of points of margin, is to keep that customer retention. But that's what Target and Walmart did, and they were punished. So I guess I'm wrong. So we'll see what Best Buy does as far as that strategy goes. But early signs are pointing to them not having inventory problems, except for in those key categories that I mentioned.
Yeah, and you mentioned the margins, right? So they sell electronics, and you mentioned those supply constraints on some of those products, appliances, Apple products, gaming. Those are all their high margin business, right. But they're not going to probably have to do as much promotion this holiday shopping season which should increase their margins because if you look at consumer intent to go out shopping, it's probably elevated right now, but this is actually going to help their margins, right?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I think you make a good point there. The high margin items are the ones that they're going to have problems with. So, maybe they should raise prices. I don't know. It's tough when you're talking about something where you can go anywhere and get it. And that's everything that Best Buy does. So we'll see. Again, leaning bullish just a little bit, plus 25. There's actually some names that we like a little bit more this week. But again, buy high, sell high. Our stock at all-time highs, doing really well. And one of the problems in this show that we had today was we couldn't find a competitor. It's always nice to invest in a company that doesn't have competition.
Yeah, that's true. Once they dumped Circuit City, no competition there, except for maybe Amazon and a couple others that have small electronics businesses. Hey, real quick, Landon, Dick's Sporting Goods tomorrow. Your score on that one real quick, because that stock hitting all-time highs again today, too.
Yeah, it's fairly neutral, actually. It's not fantastic, but it's one that we're watching, looking forward to. And I'm not sure what the show category is tomorrow. Maybe we can do Dick's.
Okay, awesome. All right, Landon, thanks a lot. Appreciate all the data from LikeFolio. Have a great day.
Thanks a lot, Tom. Take care.
All right, that's Landon Swan, the co-founder of LikeFolio.com.